I hope you have been finding that we love to create short video tutorials on the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3 so you can get exactly the information you need. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com where we're doing over 100 videos on this machine, but here we're going to clarify just how exactly you are to put a bobbin in correctly. And I've actually got one of the original Husqvarna Viking bobbins because I know a lot of you have had machines in the past. So the blue one here is the new size. It is much taller than the original green bobbins. It is the same width. So width-wise, same. Height-wise, different. So I often kind of cringe when I see people come into classes with a machine like this and they have green bobbins in because they do fit, but they're so short, and that means that they kind of bounce and bobble and sometimes can lead to things that you shouldn't be doing. So as always, every sewing machine needs to be using the bobbin that is designed for that machine. So let's make sure, if you have any green bobbins, maybe just wind that thread off onto some of your new ones. I do find a lot of our students say that they have anywhere from 20 to 30 bobbins total, and that is usually enough for both sewing thread and embroidery thread. So if you aren't up to that total, next time you're at your Husqvarna Viking store, pick up a couple extra packets of bobbins. Now we do have in our main video of threading and winding a bobbin video, we'll link that right up here if you haven't watched that, but here is really a close explanation of inserting the bobbin correctly. So first off, you always want to look for the logo. That H, the little Husqvarna Viking logo, needs to be on top. So that makes sure that we always get this in correctly. That does mean that the thread is always coming off the left side. As you drop it in here, and that's all you need to do is just drop it in, and there's two ways to easily get the thread in the bobbin tension. So the bobbin tension start point is right about 6 o'clock. There's a little groove right down here, and there's even kind of an arrow coming out of it, so you can even see it when you're close up. But one of the things you can do, instead of trying to pull this around to the front, you can actually let it flip over the top and down, and it will just drop right in. Here it goes, right at 6 o'clock. At this point, I like to put my finger on the bobbin for a little resistance, and then go ahead and pull the thread kind of up and to the left, and you'll hear a little click. That click goes right into the rest of the bobbin tension. Let's do that again. We'll place the bobbin in, let the thread flip over to the side, drop in around 6 o'clock, put your finger on, pull tightly, click, and now it's ready for the final path. Head up towards the top part where there's a little groove that you'll lay the thread in, and then follow this arrow down to the bottom. Now underneath this little finger here is a cutter. I like to just put this right over the top, close that down, and then pull my thread to the left, and you can kind of see it holds it in place. So once again, we don't have to bring our bobbin thread up to the top. As soon as you put fabric in and start to sew, that will come and retrieve the bobbin thread and bring it up into your sewing stitch. Now, do remember that underneath here, a lot of lint gathers up, whether you're working with cotton fabrics, battings, fleeces, minkies, all those fluffy fabrics, is make sure that you go in and find our cleaning and maintenance video. You get underneath this throat plate, you take off the cover here and go down below the bobbin, because there is a lot of lint that will gather up in here. So if you're having trouble with stitches, skipping the stitches, or broken threads while you're sewing, cleaning out under your throat plate will be the answer. I usually do it about every 3 to 5 bobbins. That's a lot of sewing since these new bobbins are much taller and you're going to get a lot of yardage, especially if you're using a thinner thread like Isacord thread or bobbin thread, or a lot of quilters' favorites, Aurifil thread. All right, so let's make sure that you are doing that correctly. If you're ever getting some loose, wonky stitches, just make sure that that thread is in that tension all the way. And once a year, when you have your machine serviced by your local Husqvarna Viking technician, they will make sure that that screw that holds that tension is properly balanced, so you always get the perfect tension for this machine. We have tons of videos. You'll find the links down below in the description to the complete playlist of the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3 videos that we are making. Plus, you'll also find all the online courses we recommend for users of this beautiful machine.